Welcome to the real Monster D. That would be me. Yes. And welcome to the threat of the threequels. Yes. Today we're going to be talking about all things related to the number 3. Yes. The third in a series of trilogies. Could that be movies, music, and more? First, we are going to roll right back into one of my favorite little franchises, Critters. Yes. And I must confess something. Out of this entire series of 4 movies, actually 5, including Critters Attack, I actually find preference over all of them in Critters 3. Why, Monster D? Why is Critters 3 your favorite? Well, I have 5 reasons to share with you, and I shall share them now. Number 1 is the small setting. I think a good horror film, in many cases, knows to take place in small, sort of claustrophobic atmospheres, and in this case it is an apartment building. Granted, Critters 3 did sort of a bait and switch because they sort of wanted you to think, oh, the critters are invading the city, when in reality they were really just infesting one lowly apartment building. In some ways, Critters 3, you could say, kind of apes Gremlins 2 in that sense. You know, when the whole thing was Gremlins go to New York, when really they just went into Clamp Cable Network. But this apartment building is no Clamp Cable, no, nothing that fancy. It is just a small, dingy, dank, disgusting apartment with a even more disgusting and dingy basement, complete with busted elevator and elevator shafts and attics. It just made for a perfect atmosphere for our heroes to try to evade these roly-poly roundabouts. My next favorite thing would be the cast of cartoon characters here. No, this is a live-action movie, of course, but the characters in here, aside from the main cast, I mean the main family, which are a little average, perhaps bland, but the rest of these characters are quite something to behold. I mean, first you have Frankie, who is trying his best to be sort of like Joe Pesci's annoying son. Then you have Rosalie, filled with all the rosy one-liners. What is eating him? Then we have Mr. and Mrs. Menzies, the Mr. of which is a conspiracy theorist with a heart of gold, and Miss Menzies, who is always prepared, right down to Marcia, who is sort of the strong woman of the picture, capable of doing anything, even when she is just hanging around. Yes. And one of the biggest ones, one of my favorites actually, though he does not get a large amount of screen time, is the character Mr. Briggs. And the actor who plays him here almost seems to be doing sort of a slight nod to Vincent Price. Perhaps he could have played him in a biopic at one point. So yes, colorful, fun, maybe one-dimensional, but still memorable characters. The next thing I love about Critters 3 is the score by John C. Williams. It is perfectly playful, setting a great tone for this film with its wonderful sort of comedy horror feel. This theme would feel just about as well at home in front of a Problem Child movie. But here it is, rolling into a light, fluffy sense of danger. And I like the way it begins with that light intro, but it also ends with a strikingly contrasting sort of score full of mystery and wonder as Charlie McFadden searches for remaining critters and eggs. Another thing I like about this movie, are the critters themselves, the puppetry, the animatronics. They have continued to develop and make them more expressive and more emotive. They can do more than they could in Critters 1 and 2, having a little more expressiveness, more eyebrow movement and eyes blinking and that sort of thing. And they've set them up to do quite a bit more. So I appreciate the upgraded puppetry of Critters 3. And lastly, despite where it ultimately wound up, one of the other things I love about this movie is its smash ending. It ended with a bang. Once again, the very end of the film wound up with Charlie sort of looking around for potentially wayward critters, and winds up finding, I suppose this is a spoiler, but the movie has been out since 1991, finds 2 eggs. And he is just about to eradicate them when an alert goes off on one of his devices. And a signal and a message is sent from the bounty hunters saying that he must not destroy these critters, that they need to remain because they are the last 2 critter eggs anywhere. How their sensors are that accurate and how they can tell is beyond me, but they figured it out. It does raise some interesting thoughts. It makes you wonder, okay, so we just spent 2 movies, really 3 movies, hunting down every last critter we could, but now all of a sudden this guild wants to protect these creatures because they are now endangered. That's an interesting flip of the script. Granted, where things wound up going in Critters 4, which directly follows this action, may not have been the most preferable place, but still, just the way that this movie ended with that sort of to-be-continued feel was nice promise in and of its time. So, yes, these are 5 reasons, 5 of the many reasons I enjoy Critters 3. And I could go on and on about so many more. You know, I could talk about the legend and the lunacy of Charlie himself. I can talk about the fortuitous performance by the very young Leonardo DiCaprio. I can talk about how they captured a perfect scent every time a smashed critter egg or some remains were left behind. Anyway, tell me, have you seen Critters 3 and do you enjoy it? Tell me what your favorite parts are. Tell me what your favorite of the entire franchise is, if you have one, if it is not this. But yes, if you have not seen it for a while, if you're looking for something nice, light, and fluffy, but with just a little more teeth, I will always recommend Critters 3, as well as the rest of the franchise. So why don't you roll on down to the comments and let me know your thoughts. Looking for a monstrous keepsake for your loved one? How about a monster on demand?
I was just so amazed just how many elements, personal elements, he got into this one photograph.
I turn your loved ones, pets, even yourself into highly detailed, personalized monster images.
The teeth! The teeth surprised me!
Order yours today at therealmonsterd.com.
My kids came over and they could immediately tell who was who.
And now enjoy the summer sale! All monster classes and monsters on demand are half price for a limited time only. Have you ever heard of a song sequel? I'm sure there have been many, but how many song threequels are you aware of? Today I am going to talk to you about one. One from perhaps the most well-known, most successful metal band of all time, Metallica. This is the Unforgiven 3, hailing off of their 2008 album Death Magnetic. Oh, what? Did your mind force you to forget that they in fact did make a 3rd installment of these songs? It happened. Yes. So, you know, of course, the original The Unforgiven was on their self-titled Black album, while The Unforgiven 2 was on Reload. So finally this one came, and this is sort of a 7-minute sort of epic ballad. Is it too much? Is a threequel too much for any band? I don't know. I think it's worth at least noting that a band did do that. And I'd like to go through some comparisons between this and the other songs. First, this is the first in that trilogy that lacks the opening horn intro. They both 1 and 2 had the sort of horn intro, so with the second one, you knew exactly what you were rolling back to. Also, this one actually gives way to the traditional "what I've felt, what I've known" chorus. It does away with that. In fact, the chorus in this song does not even kick in until nearly the final third of the song. So that is an interesting change. Also, this song actually goes back to the feeling of the first song. See, the original song, what made it a little bit interesting was that the regular verses were heavier and it had a softer chorus. Unforgiven 2 flipped that script with sort of a lighter set of verses and a heavier chorus. Well, this one brings it full circle back to that sort of heavy, light mixture of the first one. So this is sort of a perfect bookend, if you will, to the trilogy. Also, it's interesting the way that this continues the theme of the unforgiveness. The first song was all about sort of a child, a loner, who perhaps was kicked around and pushed around by bullies and peers, and just did not quite fit in with this world. The sequel deals more with two people who of similar backgrounds who may or may not be able to connect or may wind up finishing their stories together in one dark way or another. But this one actually kind of goes back to a singular person, and this one is more about inner forgiveness. It is interesting the way it connects this by talking about a sort of a ship voyage, sort of a sailing voyage, an adventure of sorts for like a golden treasure, and the ability to forgive oneself of past deeds can very well be like sort of a lost golden treasure. So I think there's a fair way to finish this sort of Unforgiven trilogy. Yes. Yeah, so that is the Unforgiven 3. Did you know that this song existed? Did you block this out of your mind? I believe it's worth another try, and it's interesting that this is, sort of a rare ballad off of the very heavy and very thrashy Death Magnetic, so perhaps worth a check out there. So tell me, do you know of any other song threequels out there? Perhaps another day I will talk to you all about how Judas Priest finished off the Devil Went Down to Georgia trilogy. Looking for a monstrous keepsake for your loved one? How about a monster on demand?
I was just so amazed just how many personal elements he got into this one photograph.
I turn your loved ones, pets, even yourself into highly detailed, personalized monster images.
The teeth! The teeth surprised me!
Order yours today at therealmonsterd.com.
My kids came over and they could immediately tell who was who.
And now enjoy the summer sale! All monster classes and monsters on demand are half price for a limited time only. Welcome to the drawing challenge. What do you know? 3 segments in a row. Let us stay with this threequel theme and finish it out by having me draw a monster out of the very number 3 itself. Yes, how about that? So I'm going to start my timer, and then I'm going to draw the number 3, and then turn that into something else. So here's the time, and I am beginning. Now, first, we draw the number 3. But what in the world do I do with a 3? What indeed? All right, ready? Switch markers here. always be ready with spares in case your one or more of your markers is running low on ink. There we go. Now I'm going to add one in the back. I bet you already have an idea of where I'm going. An idea, maybe not the full scope. So if you enjoyed this threequel set of fun today, we learned all about a threequel movie and a threequel song. And now here we are drawing something threequel related. Whatever could it be? Or three related at the very least. Now. Alright, I'm going to give this thing the little leg here. And actually, I'm going to do something really special. I'm going to go with purple and give this fellow some crowns. Why in the world would I give this monster crowns? I will tell you in just a little bit, if you have not already figured out yourself. So there we go. And then I'm going to add a bit of green. Keep this monster roaring. Then I'm going to deepen these black lines, make it stand out, pop a little bit more, especially on the inside. Little on the outside too, though. All right. Then, some mistakes, which we will turn into part of the drawing. Remember, never fear your mistakes. Just use them to your advantage. There we go. Now I'm going to give this fellow some wings. This is a very crude drawing, but fun nonetheless. There we go. This creature, I think, needs some red eyes. What do you think? There we go. And then, I should color those wings in. I bet my time is nearly done. Little leg down there. Could probably add one more leg. Finish that off. This is a silly drawing, is it not? Sometimes you have to draw just to enjoy drawing. There we go. Oh boy. And then, done with that. Oh, look at that. And here we have King Threedera. Do you like that? King Threedera. What, are you not a fan of threequel puns? What do you think? What do you think would be an even more terrifying number? Anyway, feel free to tell me in the comments below what other numbers should be monsterized. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this drawing, just as I hope you have enjoyed this threequel show entire. If you have, please do hit that like button and toll that bell so you can be ready, willing, and salivating for the very next episode of The Real Monster D. Stay monstrous! Rawr!